Cousins family, what's the word, y'all? So, I'm only 24 years old, and I know a lot of men older than me, tend not to think of me as an adult or a grown man, right? So, I actually want to ask myself, right, based on all that I've learned and all that I went through, what is a man? What should a man be? What should a man do? Well, when I think about this, a man, I always think about what a man is on a spiritual level. What is a spiritual man, right? I don't think just about the sex, right? Or the different characteristics, right? I think about what did the Most High Creator of all things, what did God intend us to be, right, as men? I've come to the conclusion that a man primarily operates in his masculine energy. And I said primarily. I didn't say all the time, right? His secondary nature, of course, would be his feminine energy. But since we are man, and since we were created with, I guess you could say, intent, right, to be masculine, then a man, I feel like, should possess the principles of masculinity. Not toxic masculinity, but masculinity, period. As far as logic, right? Reasonable, right? Understanding, a protector, right? A teacher, and a student. And I say student because the woman operating her feminine energy is indeed the first lawgiver to the masculine energy, simply because things came from the feminine energy first. Things were birthed from the feminine energy, right? Darkness came before light. Darkness represents feminine energy, femininity, right? And light represents masculinity. So when I ask myself what it is to be a man, I am thinking of the aspects of both light and darkness. What is light, right? Light is out there. Light shines, right? Light gives, right? Just like the sun, right? The sun would be a representation of masculine energy, or the sun would be a representation of a man. This is why, they always equate Jesus to be the Son, S-O-N, S-U-N, of God, right? So with that being said, I feel like to be a man is to hone the physical, spiritual, and mental attributes of masculinity, right? Embodying fully a masculine, figure, right? I feel like men, right, are not supposed to overindulge in their emotions. Rather, that is happiness, sadness, anger, pleasure, right? I feel like us as men, we should not do that simply because we're not designed, right? That's almost like the sun, right? This light bringer. I'm sorry, y'all. I just completely forgot my fucking train of thought, because it's like when motherfuckers play music on some shit like that, especially when I'm recording my videos, I have to pause that shit until I can't hear the shit, because if the phone hears it, then next thing you know, the nigga got copyright, right? The little things that they be trying to do to keep motherfuckers from actually bringing these messages to y'all, because this is some real ass shit, right? But that's another thing. Like I said, man, men cannot overindulge too much in their emotions, because I swear that music being played in there pissed me off, because it made me lose my train of thought. And man, we just can't be like that, because we actually forget to be logical. to be reasonable and to understand, right? I had to switch perspectives, right? From a offensive perspective on getting mad at this man for playing music, right? But I'm not really mad at him, right? I'm just mad at, I get what I'm saying? Like, we have to operate with understanding, because truthfully, I got in my emotions, right, being a little upset that the music was playing, right, making me forget my train of thought, and I'm not understanding that, hey, he probably just enjoying his day. Hey, he just, just listening to some music. He probably just got off work or something like that. Like, I have to understand, and that's where men, I feel like, fail at in 2025, because it's like motherfuckers don't understand. We war with each other. We kill each other, and it's like we never try to understand each other. We never try to, be real and reasonable with each other, right? See, they got us into this toxic masculinity cycle, right? To where we too masculine, right? To the point where there's no moon, behind the sun, right? And if y'all know what I'm saying, right, there's no feminine energy, there's no femininity behind the masculinity. And when there's not no femininity behind the masculinity, then the masculinity runs rampant. The masculinity becomes toxic, right? The masculinity becomes almost so logical that it's illogical, so reasonable that it's unreasonable, because the masculinity or masculine energy is not thinking about the purpose on why he is even a man, right? Like, just think about it. Like, really just think about it. Like, when a man does not have a woman behind him, what do we call that man? What men do we see in society, right? And how do they act without women, right? A man that is not married is almost like a child still, I feel like, because it's like he's not protecting, he's not providing, right? He's not participating and acting on his masculine principles, right? The shit that God gave him here to bring balance to this earth, because truthfully, if you are a woman in this lifetime, then you are supposed to bring some type of balance to the masculine energy. And if you are a man, then you're supposed to bring some type of balance to the feminine energy, right? But I feel like that a lot of this shit was flipped, right? Because they say Satan, the devil, whoever you want to quote, right? They say he flipped this shit, right? They say he flipped all this shit, right? So what's left is really right, and what's right is really left. But not that simple, right? Because it's systems within systems within systems. You might have, just think about it is, y'all ever heard of binary code? Like the language, the universe, computers, technology, that should communicate in ones and zeros. And a lot of times, it may not be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It may be 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Like, it may be like a complete code to this shit, right? You may have left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right? It's like you may have something completely different than what you like. It's almost like a lock. If y'all know what the lock is, you gotta spin to the left, you gotta spin to the right, you gotta spin to the left. Shit has never been really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit has never really been that simple. I mean, it has, but it's not. I think I'm getting off the subject, but really, the point of this video, man, was for me to try to identify as a man, what is a man? What are we supposed to do? Right? How are we supposed to be? And I feel like women should also take the same look at themselves. When they ask themselves, what is a woman? Look at the moon. When they ask themselves, what is a woman? Look at the earth. Look at nature. Right? And through these celestial bodies and energies, man, we understand ourselves, right? And how everything is a fractal, right? Fractals are like these. They're the patterns, right, in objects. We have them saying fractals in our eyes, right? Them saying fractals are in a blade of grass. Them saying fractals are in your leaves and on your trees and tree bark. I mean, I just wonder sometimes, you know, what is this shit, right? What is it to be a woman? I'm not a woman, but I could tell you how a woman would operate because I have a mother, just like all of us. Just like all of us have a father too. So, in a way, we can speak for both because we're supposed to, right? We are put here to understand each other, right? The imbalance that we see between men and women just shows a lot. It just shows a light on what we're not doing. It shows a lot on what we're not doing, and the purpose in which we've been created for is not purpose. Right? It's just not. It's just not. And I think about this shit. Like a motherfucker would tell you all the time, you know, a man ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. Right? This is what women say. Niggas ain't shit. I feel like when they say niggas ain't shit, they says a lot about them. If niggas ain't shit, it's probably because of you. Because that's your perspective. That's your perception. And not only that, when you say things like that, when women say things like that, or when men say things like that, when we say things like that about each other, right? We are only insinuating that we don't want to come to a resolve and that we don't want to, you know, actually be better, right? We don't want to have a family, right? It's like, I'm probably talking over myself, man. Dang, I guess, where my straight black at, man? That's straight bullshit. I'm on mama quick. Man, that's straight bullshit. I'm on mama. But yeah, man, I don't want to sway too far from the purpose on some shit like that of this video. You know, like my videos aren't traditional. Shit. I'm just giving y'all me. Like, I'm just giving y'all me. Right? But yeah, what is it to be a woman? Right? Look at the moon. Look at the earth. What does the earth do? Right? Of course it produces, it births. Right? It gives. It's a giver. Right? The earth is very, very sensitive too. Right? Like, what other aspects of the earth are there that you could compare to a woman, right? And see, that's what I feel like it is. To know how we are to operate as beings that came from the earth, I feel like it is important for us to study nature. I feel like that's important. Right? The only thing that would be driving us away from nature is something unnatural. That's my only explanation. And rather that unnatural being may be in the spirit, the mental, the physical, like it's something that is driving us away from our natural sense of what. Of a lot of shit. Yeah, I'll be at peace though, man. I share.